Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Boo!
Welcome in, everyone, to the Undrafted Uncensored, a part of the E5280 Sports Network, where I don't know about you guys, I never want to see Mark Davis that happy ever again.
What do you mean? We're probably going to see it in week 18.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Here he goes again.
No, we're not.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's, I mean, maybe not 63 points happy. If they hung 63 on the Broncos, I would definitely be very surprised. But wouldn't it be just like the Broncos to lose the last game of the season with a chance to go to the playoffs?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it could be worse. You could be selling tickets on the secondary market for 45 cents a piece.
Yeah, did you guys like that?
That was amazing.
I did.
I like that very much. Thanks, Kirk.
Yeah, thanks, Kirk. Appreciate you.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, when I saw that post, I was like, "Oh my god, this is cheaper." I can't remember. There was a college football game that was like a bowl game. They were doing dollar ticket, or no, it was a regular college football game that was like dollar tickets. It was like UConn against Duke 2 years ago, or something weird like that.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
I know it was UConn.
Yeah, because Duke, I think, was one of them. I think you're right.
Yeah, it was definitely then UConn and Duke, but yeah, it was. They were like dollar tickets or $5 tickets to sit on the 50-yard line.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Unbelievable.
I mean, these ones were obviously upper deck, but I mean, come on. If I knew I could get my hands on one and we didn't have this going today, I would have actually considered getting on an airplane, flying out there to North Carolina, and taking in a football game for less than $1.
Why not? I mean,
Yeah,
how fun would that be?
Heck, you know, I might still do it now that you mention it. I might just fly out there tomorrow for the heck of it.
I'd do it for a different game, but I wouldn't want to see him play the Raiders. That
No, this is like one of those ones you go to this just because of how terribly stupid cheap it is.
Well,
you flaunt on your Instagram. That's for the gram.
But either way, like, you got to pay money for a plane ticket to go see the Raiders. That sounds.
Well, this isn't the Raiders. This is even better. It's the Panthers against the Saints.
Falcons.
Oh, that's
or Falcons. Oh yeah, Falcons, not the Saints. That's right.
Oh, sick! I thought it was Chargers Raiders.
No, the tickets.
No, we got off that one.
Oh, okay. My bad then.
It was. It's in Carolina, right?
Yeah, in Carolina.
And yeah, tickets are going for 45 cents.
Not anymore. They're like $4 now.
Okay.
Whoa, what a hell of a markup.
Man, that's like 1,000% markup right there.
Well, and I forgot my brother was going out there for a concert tonight.
Oh, really?
Or else I would have told him beforehand when I heard the story, because he went out there for a concert, and I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool. And so like 2 hours later, I was like, oh dude, if you can, if you don't have a flight till later, see if you can go see this stupid football game for 45 cents.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
I still would have done it.
100%.
Yeah. Like I said, I still might. Let's see if I can fly in and out. See if I can fly in and out of Charlotte.
I bet you can.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
airport.
I have they do have an airport. I have my travel pass, so if I can fly in and then fly back out tomorrow night, be gone for just a few hours, catch a game. I might go live tomorrow night from North Carolina. We'll see.
Oh, I think I created a monster.
I got all excited. We talked baseball on the show earlier today at the station, so and talked a little bit about the Montfort. So I'm fired up.
Oh, you're fired up. Let me tone you down a little bit then.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of it. It was funny. Yeah. Dan Jacobs was all talking about the Broncos are going to make the playoffs. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion. And then Colin's like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think it's likely.
Negative Nancy all the time.
I was texting him about our fantasy stuff, and I was like, also, don't let Dan get you down. You keep predicting Broncos losses, Colin. Never change.
It works.
Another team calling down a little bit here. The Mines tried, and they failed again.
They did.
Disappointing.
That's too bad.
Dover and Miles actually got to go down there and call it for the RMAC network on radio. So I feel bad for them too, because they didn't let them go last year. This year they let them go down there.
Yeah, they started off with a touchdown early, and then that was it.
And, I mean, that team just overpowered them no matter what. But I mean, just the offense alone that they were able to put together against Mines. I mean, they had that like basically triple option. It seemed like was just too much for Mines to overcome.
Well, and the school they face. So you mentioned they run the triple option, but they also score out of that triple option an average of like 42 points a game.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like it's they're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And the Mines just couldn't something just happened. Looks like someone just got hit. He's dead. Is that what you said?
He's not alive.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah,
as long as it's not Zach Moss, I'm okay.
Number 11.
He's got his points for the night. You're good.
That's the excuse me, that's the Colts, and that's Michael Pittman.
Pittman just got
deaded.
Yeah, he just got his world reset.
He just got unlifed.
That's too bad.
He's been de-livinged.
De-livinged. The Mines back-to-back years, and now they're losing their core.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Back to the lab again, yo.
Back to the lab. Back to the engineering drawing board.
Yeah.
Dude, they've got a hell of a lab, let me tell you.
It's sad to see, especially, I mean, those guys have been winning left and right, and they just, that big one just comes around and they just couldn't. I mean, it seemed like they didn't show up today other than that first possession. I mean, Matoka was just under pressure left and right. They tried to get 3 points before the end of the half and couldn't even make that happen. And I mean, you go in the locker room down 21-7 after you just missed a field goal. And then right out the gate, your opponent comes back out and puts another 7 on the board. It was just like, he was done.
See, and it's tough. Like I said, I was at the station, so I didn't get to watch it, but I was following along. And all of a sudden I look back up and it's like, oh, they scored all right, 7. Oh, wait, they scored twice more. Oh, this is going to be a rough time for them because they obviously weren't moving the ball much after that first drive.
No.
Or what it seemed like, once again, what I could garner from watching online, watching dots move on a fake field.
I love dots. Dots are delicious. Hashtag not sponsored.
Dots are delicious. Hey, talk about underrated candy.
Yeah, they're like the enemy of braces, but they're pretty good.
Especially the tropical dots.
I'm more of a Lifesavers gummy guy.
I never had. Ooh, those are fire though. Those are quite slept on as well.
Lifesavers gummies are good, but give me dots.
Give me dots.
Jujubes.
No, Jujubes were like good, but once they got too hard, it was
Well, you needed something to eat on the way to the hospital. When you're.
I mean, or it's what's sending you to the hospital.
Yeah, both. It's both. I mean, but if we're being real, the best gummy candy is Gushers.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
bar none.
But the White Sharks,
dude. Yeah, have you had the Sour Patch Kid Gushers?
No,
it's literally just that. It's fucking phenomenal. There's no better like fruity candy in my opinion.
So now we're going from underrated to just plain. Yeah, of course, Gushers are great.
Yeah, exactly.
Underrated gummy candy. Like dots have to be up there. You're right. Gummy Lifesavers are good too.
I think so. We'll save that for when we start making tier lists of stuff. The gummy candy tier list.
The gummy candy movie list.
Yeah. But only underrated ones. Like you can only do certain flavors of Laffy Taffy.
Banana's the best.
True.
I'm one of those
White
guys.
one that
Truth. That's
was
the
there like a
truth.
white one with like little sprinkles in it?
What?
Oh, like the big bars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't even know if that was like a white cherry. I don't know
I can't
what you're
remember
talking
amazing.
about.
because
Yeah,
the
there was like a
watermelon one had the
sprinkle
little
one.
black specks in it to make it look like seeds.
That's right. Which were not good, by the way. Looking back, like you always thought it was awesome, but they actually really weren't that good. I
was
don't
also
know.
a big cherry sours guy. I worked at a
Yes.
small gas station that had like a bunch
7-Eleven.
of weird old stuff. They had like, circus peanuts, which I wanted to light on fire.
Oh, I love circus peanuts.
Oh, I can't. No.
Only like
Peanuts
2
guy.
at a time, like every 5 years.
No, it's like
No.
chalk, cardboard and chalk and a little bit of sugar. And it's powdered. And you go, no, cherry sours though. Cherry sours are fire.
Cherry sours, yeah.
Yeah, who cares about sports, man? I like candy.
Yeah, I always had the wax on the outside always got me. I don't know, on those cherry sours.
See, I didn't like the ones I didn't like were the little soda bottles that you had to open up and hated
Oh
it.
yeah, with the little juice.
Yeah.
Those were
Those were-
cool.
They were cool, but they were so disappointing.
Yeah.
Terrible, dude.
Tiny. Yeah.
And like one time I accidentally, like when I was trying to rip one open, like swallowed the wax. An accident, and so like
Trying to tear it off the top. Yeah.
yeah.
Trying to be man's man, rip off the top with your teeth like they did.
Or
in
it
the
gets stuck in
commercials.
your tooth and you can't get it
Yeah.
out, and then that you swallow it that way. Not that I ever did that.
No.
Oh man. Well, yeah. Let's get this back real quick because we can go down rabbit holes.
I don't see why.
I
I'm
mean,
thoroughly
it's
enjoying this. Nerds rope?
frustrating,
Nerds
but,
rope
I mean-
anyone?
just the clusters is fine for me.
So good.
Still haven't tried the clusters.
Oh, you gotta get the clusters, dude. Dangerous. Get them on Amazon.
Hey, I saw that, but I know we're going in the NFL. Did you guys see the breaking news for the NFL?
Negative.
Break
the news.
Bengals
that.
quarterback Jake Browning will be drug tested after his 27-24 win over the Vikings in overtime. Not really. I don't know if it's real or not, but I'm just saying.
That's funny.
Did you
That
see
is
Jake
funny.
Browning's comeback?
He
Oh,
will
man.
be tested.
Oh, that's funny.
It's like the punter kicking 80 yards. Like, oh, time to get tested.
Yeah. Oh, you weren't supposed to be in that game.
How'd you do that?
Come see me tomorrow.
We might have that soon. Did you hear Matt Ariza got acquitted from the rape charges that he had?
He actually got acquitted like last year.
Yeah, so they totally dropped him from the suit. You're right. That was the news. But
The civil suit,
yeah, immediately after that, he got a workout with, I think it was like the Giants or the Jets or somebody. So we might start seeing, more punts hitting the scoreboard in Jerry World and
Yeah.
ridiculous. They probably should actually test him for steroids before he comes back because who knows.
I mean, he hasn't been on an NFL roster. He's
been able to.
I mean, he was the talk of the preseason in a good way.
In a good way.
Last year because of what he was doing, and unfortunately, I mean,
His stock plummeted.
Yeah,
which is understandable if everything was real, and it sucks. Oh, Zach Moss is questionable to return.
Oh fuck!
You got to be kidding me!
You still got a pretty good bit with him, didn't you?
I got a little bit,
No,
but yeah.
Again, we're getting off track. Welcome to fantasy football talk, folks.
Yeah. Well, welcome to what's
it's
going
the
on
playoffs.
in games
Colin and
that.
I are in them, and we're concerned.
Yeah, games that we're glad you're not watching because you're watching us.
Exactly.
We'll keep you updated. But
come on, all three of us aren't doing both right now.
Right.
Yeah, Ariza was the talk of, or Ariza, I can't remember exactly.
Ariza, yeah, there's an A in there.
He was
not
the
like
talk
Trevor.
of the preseason until all that happened, and it sucks that, all the good for him, the allegations were false, but how quickly it really spiraled. And I mean, he's gotten a tryout, but it still might cost him a career because sometimes.
Yeah.
It only takes one thing said for people to remember. They don't remember the acquittal. I mean, there's a story about that Baylor linebacker who was a beast and was tearing things up. Who same thing happened. Some accusations turned out they were false. None of it was real, but his stock dropped, and he hasn't been able to make it to the NFL after having a hell of a senior year at Baylor.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's the allegations like that are such a double-edged sword because in the end, whether or not they're acquitted, that stigma sticks with you no matter what, because it's such a violent and unnecessary crime.
Yeah.
That, you want to believe that the justice system is right all the time, but it's not. And, I'm not taking away from that he was acquitted, because I mean, he didn't get charged. He didn't get anything else. So it is what it is. But sometimes those things are just so hard to prove too that,
I mean, you certainly hope that if those things come to light, that when they are brought, that they are brought to light, and when they're brought to light, they're true.
Yeah.
It sucks when they're false, because there's, it makes it harder for those true stories to come out. And anytime that happens to someone, no one should have to deal with what was accused of, but no one should also have to deal with being accused of something they didn't do.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So sorry. Jake Browning's getting drug tested.
Browning's getting tested.
And so
he's going to get DNA tested. They're not totally sure it isn't just Joe Burrow in disguise.
So I don't know if you guys got the reference when I sent you the rundown. It's a Star Wars reference, though. When we met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
I didn't read the whole rundown besides the order in which we were talking about.
Yep, okay. I read the bullet points. Because I would have got that. I'm a Star Wars guy. My bad.
I was hoping you would, but obviously Peyton's facing one of his young learners who now has his own team. Therefore, he is now the master. And I mean, can the copy defeat the original, or are the Broncos going to walk out of there with a dub?
I mean, I wouldn't call Dan Campbell a copy. I mean, he's definitely built a really like a hard-nosed, old-school style. I don't feel like it's quite as like screen game oriented as Sean Payton's kind of offenses are. I feel like Dan Campbell is one of those coaches too that kind of lets his coordinators get free reign. Like, I'm not sure what a Dan Campbell offense looks like, but I know what a Ben Johnson offense looks like, So I feel like he's kind of that perfect, the rarest type of coach, the kind of delegator like Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, where they kind of let both guys do their thing and just run the team. Which may end up causing them problems in the future if Ben Johnson ever gets a head coaching job and they don't have that same offensive potential. But this is going to be a big game, man. It's huge. It's not big in terms of like teams getting a leg up on the Broncos. Sadly, the Broncos don't have any more of those games, so they kind of have to have some help from the rest of the league here. This is the most difficult game left on the schedule. This is the last one that I had them losing. And I feel like if they can win this game, they're a playoff team. They're a playoff caliber team, and they are who we thought they were. R.I.P. Denny Green. But even if they lose this game, they're not totally out of it. There's still a good chance. But Cincinnati winning today hurts a lot, because either way, Pittsburgh or Indy was going to lose, because that's how that works. They're playing each other. So you were going to have somebody lose and kind of be with you but like, man, these teams, there's so many teams tight in there, and anybody else that starts getting wins, the Broncos can't afford to fall too behind. Because I was listening to the radio today, and there was this guy, Colin Zanker, on there talking about how the Patriots could just screw around. I was actually thinking this. He didn't say this part, but like Belichick could just say "fuck you" to the Patriots and win one more game and hurt their draft stock on the way out. But the Broncos could end up losing to the Chargers with whatever kind of interim head coach comes in and does some things. Aiden O'Connell does worry me a little bit, but now I just feel like this Broncos team is really fragile, and they really can, I don't know if they need that 3 turnovers to win games, but they've had 3 or more turnovers in all those games that they've won. So that I want to see them do it without that. I don't know if they'll be able to do it against Detroit, who's just a fucking shitstorm on offense. Like, that's going to be if the Broncos can shut this down, like I said, they're a playoff team.
Yeah, the big issues come with Sam Laporta in the middle for for the Lions.
And-
Not that I'm not worried about a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown.
But again, he's a
because
slot receiver, just like Keenan Allen.
Exactly. And so is Surtain going to be on him? How much will he cover him? Will Jameson Williams, are they going to design up these fake plays? Will the Lions have the same amount of interest in this game as the Broncos? Because once again, just like this game doesn't mean much to the Broncos as far as an AFC game, it doesn't mean much to the Lions as an NFC game besides keeping their position within their division.
Yeah,
and with the Vikings losing, it's not as important. So, yeah, it's will we see Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson and these guys drop some exotic plays and different things for their team? You know, last week, Jameson Williams, I want to say, had an end around touchdown. There's some options, and there are a lot of different ways that this team can beat you. But this defense has proven that they're really good, and they have been the last few weeks. But I think it is a kind of foregone conclusion that the Broncos need those 3 turnovers in a game to win, because when they haven't gotten it, they've lost.
Yeah.
And it's mostly because they're turning those turnovers into field goals. They're not really getting turned into touchdowns most of the time. There's a lot more times they're ending up with field goals than they are with touchdowns off those turnovers, or not scoring at all. So they need all the opportunities possible to put points on the board.
Guess who just came back in the game?
Oh, please say that.
And scored another receiving touchdown.
Oh!
No!
Don't say, if it was Pittman, I'm going to be so angry.
That would be really funny. No, it was Zach Moss. Wait, no. Oh, no, he's a 31, not 21.
I was going to say, it's Trey Goodson, I think.
Different number.
You big jerk.
I'm
not caught up.
The Colts numbers looked, the 3 and the 2 got that same little curve. I thought it was a 2. I couldn't see his whole jersey. I just saw the
All right.
Oh,
so where's that mute button for Joe right about now?
I should have said, yeah, it's
That's fine. That's fine.
That's funny.
You got to think too. The last 3 weeks, this is a Lions team that's lost to the Packers and the Bears as well. So I mean, there's that whole playing to the level of your opponent. I mean, they barely squeaked by against the Saints. So they lost to Green Bay 29-22, lost to the Saints 33-28, or beat the Saints 33-28, and then lost to the Bears 13-28. So they haven't been showing up a whole lot the last few weeks.
Yeah, but I heard another guy on the radio. His name was Colin Zanker. He was talking about how those are all road games, and the Lions have played really well at home. So a lot of those games of them not playing well have been on the road. So them going back home it kind of worries me a little bit more. What do you think, Colin?
Well, most of them have been. The Packers loss was at home on Thursday night, but that was coming off a Sunday night 31-26 victory over the Bears at home.
But again, a team that they should have walked on.
The Packers?
No, the Bears.
The Bears on the road, yeah, they should have, but the Bears have become they're a lot better with Justin Fields. And remember that first game back when they beat the Bears, that was Justin Fields' first game of returning. So, or maybe it was the second game returning. But either way, the victory at home over the Bears, yeah, they should win, but the Bears are playing better football as of late than the start of the season. You know, the start of the season, they really weren't playing that good. And
it's also squeaked by the Chargers 41-38.
Shocker.
I mean, the Chargers in which game are we going to? Week what?
That was week 10.
Yeah, week 10 when the Chargers still had their full offensive complement. Dude, they scored 41 points.
Yeah.
Like the Broncos,
they also gave up 38.
Yeah. I'm not saying their defense is that good, but they're playing a really great offense.
I'm just saying that at 9-4, I don't think the Lions are as strong as they reflect, because they've had a lot of games against some mediocre teams.
Okay, so where's the Broncos offense right now? Are they above average, below average? Where do you put them at?
I still put them at average.
You put them at average. Where do you put the where do you put the? Let's see. Well, I mean, the Raiders are kind of tough to tell on a
Yeah.
week. I mean, the Bears are, I think, an average one. They've been giving up, 28 points, kind of consistent. Actually, 28 points really consistently. So yeah, the Broncos could get to 28 in this game. I mean, the Ravens put up 38. They held the Bucks to 6, but that's earlier in the season.
Yep.
Their defense was playing much better early in the
Yeah.
season until some injuries happened. I really think, like I said, this comes down to the Broncos capitalizing on opportunities, because Jared Goff at home is much better than he is on the road. And those games on the road, I think the Bears were out to like a 21-0 lead in that game last week. So what do you got to do? You got to get on them early. You got to get up early, and then hopefully hold that lead with the running game, because what have I said all year? You don't want Russ trying to win the game for you.
No.
And if you're trying to get into a shootout with the Lions, you're in trouble.
You're gonna lose.
If you're the Broncos, you're definitely in trouble. You're going to lose that matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I don't know. I'm just making points that as much as we're saying this is, and I'm not taking away that this is not a difficult game for the Broncos to perform in, because it is, the third best team in the NFC right now. That's still, they haven't quite learned how to finish, or how to be, I make that next step, I guess, is kind of what I'm going at. They've figured out how to win again. They've become relevant. They're talked about. They're, flexed out of what they were originally slated to play on a Saturday night primetime spot at home. I'm not trying to take away from them. I'm just trying to show in there too that they do have their holes. Whereas you look at 9-4 against 7-6, and you think that fares better for the Lions, when their quality of opponent hasn't been all that great this year.
No, and when they faced a quality opponent, they haven't done well. But the Broncos also, the Broncos offense isn't that quality of an opponent. Their defense is, but the offense, I just don't see where the Broncos offense, they have opportunities in this game, but I don't know if they can take advantage, because I haven't seen them take advantage of opportunities before. And like the Lions, I will say, looking back though, in prime time, they kind of shrink in the limelight. One thing I kind of forgot about last year, besides the last game against the Packers when they knocked the Packers out of the playoffs, the Lions in prime time, or the standalone game, they're not great. I mean, they beat the Raiders 26-14, and I want to say that was McDaniel's last week. Maybe it was the week before his last week. But if I remember right, that was not a good game on Monday Night Football. So I don't know. Maybe the Broncos having them in prime time, or a standalone game, they have a better shot than I think.
They got a puncher's chance, man. Because that offense, it's not scary or very good, but they will sneak up on you. Those opportunities come because they almost lull you into a false sense of security, and then Cortland Sutton makes a big play. Javonte Williams is just consistent enough, along with the P. Ryan and McLaughlin kind of combo. They'll be able to get down there and kick field goals. We were loving ourselves some field goals a couple weeks ago, man.
Would you say you were lutzing yourself some field goals?
Oh man, dude, it was.
You lutz those field goals.
I lutz them so much, man. Like,
yeah. We got the Nick head shake.
Oh, I'm in Lutz with field goals.
There you go. That's what it should have been.
Yeah. No, we'll just keep doing it, until we it feels perfect.
We need lots of field goals.
We just need a whole lots of field goals.
You don't make me go Draymond Green on you too.
Oh man.
All right. Well, we got just about 2 hours before kickoff, so just a little over 2 hours. Let's go predictions.
For field goals, Colin and I are a couple of sluts.
Yeah.
Colin, you first.
Those kickers drive me nuts.
Nuts for Lutz. Nuts for Lutz.
I got lots of opinions for you. My prediction on this game is the Broncos lose 30-20. And I kind of actually really want to go like 13. I don't know. I'm afraid of this offense getting going today. But I say the Broncos lose. So give me the Lions.
Scurry.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Joseph?
I mean, I definitely said there's a chance, and I kind of want to take the off chance on the Broncos. But this is a really good Lions team, and they're kind of looking for a bounce back too against a potential playoff team. We'd be one of the better teams they'd have beaten this year, which feels good to say because we haven't even been that good to say like, well, at least beating us means something. But I don't think they're going to turn the ball over as much. I feel like their defense, while having holes, still can get to the quarterback. I think Russ can dump it down. I don't know. Somehow I feel like the Broncos have more of a chance than I want to give them credit for. But I should probably take the Lions, and I'll take the Lions. It kind of feels bad. It almost feels wrong. I don't know.
Nick, give us your insight onto why you're picking the Broncos.
Yeah, so why is Nick picking them this week?
See, I'm like you guys. I'm stuck in this middle area where I feel like they can pull out a shocker because they just if they stick to what's been working and don't try to get fancy, they can win games. They've proven it left and right. When they stick to the run game, they can beat opponents, and the defense has stepped up markedly, and it's a good defense, and I think they can rattle Goff's cage enough that they can get a couple turnovers.
The Broncos are pretty good at beating Goff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
That's a bread and turnip joke.
Reason number one, I'm picking the Broncos because you two picked against them.
There you go.
See, I was gonna say Joe last week went with the Broncos, so he's going back to his old juju by picking the Lions. So I think the Broncos are obviously going to win today, since Joe flipped the script once again. He went back to the old Broncos lose. Now they're gonna win. So Nick, there you go.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
By the way, the Broncos are plus 190 in this game. Lions minus 230. So
makes sense.
Broncos not a miracle. I don't know. No, I'm just gonna stick with my gut that they find a way to win this. It's not gonna be a pretty win, as none of their wins have been, but
not a single one.
It will do enough to climb above one of these two 7-6 teams right now that are battling away.
By the way, do we like these Saturday games?
You know, I'm
indifferent.
Kind of. I mean,
I guess the Saturday games to end the season is more my question.
I mean, they're just kind of taking advantage of the fact that college football is not there, and they kind of have a monopoly on people's time because it's a weekend day, and people are doing it. So and it's not like Thursday night football where it's like usually really bad football, even when it is good teams. So I don't worry too much about it. If there's any teams that go from Monday to Saturday, I wouldn't like that, but I'm pretty sure they don't do that. I forget who played Monday, but they probably play tomorrow. So yeah, I don't care.
I don't mind it. I mean, like Joe said, they already have the monopoly anyway with college football playoffs and the fact that, you've eliminated 2 bowl games for the playoffs. And so, there's not as many bowl games out there anymore.
I mean, I am a fan because of how it sets up the end of the season. It would be cool if they could set up the end of the season so that they would have one Monday night game that would be meaningful to who gets in and out of the playoffs. Yeah. But with the end of the season, all the teams playing on the weekend, I've just heard some pushback about the Saturday games, and I don't get it because I think it's another full day of football.
Yeah.
It's a chance to, like Joe said, I mean, people are off of work. Not everybody, but a lot of people are off. It's a chance to have 2 full days of football,
You can
and it
spotlight
sets
some
up,
teams in the
the
too.
end of the season really well, because you have the last 2 weekends where you can really watch a lot more of each of the games because they're separated out. Whereas in some, I mean, tomorrow there's
that's a good
7
point.
games in the early slate, so
And you can spotlight some teams too that haven't been spotlight this year, and teams that are in potential playoff runs. Give people that don't normally get to watch them an opportunity to see how well they're doing. And I mean, even for fantasy people, you break up your schedule a little bit a little bit more so that you can, really look at your team and get into the playoffs or advance in the playoffs.
I think for fantasy, it's kind of a negative because you have to make sure you have your guys ready by Saturday instead of Sunday. But I'm never going to want to change the way college football, change the way that football on TV is structured because of fantasy. I love fantasy. It's great. It's tons of fun, but fantasy should work around football, not the other way around. But yeah, now that I think about it, especially with the point that Colin made about how you get to see more teams and more games if you get a chance to watch both days instead of having it all going at the same time, that is pretty nice. I'm starting to become a little bit more and more pro Saturday, but also because this year especially, like you said too, Colin, the teams are good. It's not just New England Chargers. It's every game has playoff implications on Saturday, which you don't get that on a lot of Mondays. Monday Night Football, where it's this game actually kind of blows. It'll maybe be fun, but it won't matter,
It's funny that you said New England Chargers because Bill Belichick sounds like he might be on his way to coaching the Chargers.
Dude, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see the Chargers taking a kicker in the 3rd round.
Oh man, that's funny. The whole thing around New England, and like you mentioned earlier, just Bill Belichick giving the middle finger to Kraft on the way out as he goes to coach the Chargers and Herbert there. I don't know how that would actually pan out because I don't know if Herbert would be one of the guys who would buy in like Brady, but
we'll do, because if they could bring in a GM to take that load off of Belichick, because he's clearly not doing a great job at that anymore, and let's just let him be a coach, which we know he's pretty good at it. But he's going to bring back Josh McDaniels, so they're going to bring back that quick slant, just manipulate the defense kind of offense with fucking Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer. They still have Everett. They might need a better tight end. They might not. Who cares? Austin Eckler in a fucking Belichick offense, Josh McDaniels offense. I hate that so much. And that means all McDaniels has to do is coach for the Chiefs at some point. He's got the AFC West quadfecta.
Oh man,
I hate all of this.
Yeah, you're right, because McDaniels would. He's going back to daddy.
And then to complete the nightmare, the Patriots hire Eric Bieniemy.
I think he's pretty much set up to take over the Commander's job at the end.
I think so too. That's what's going to happen. But or something like that. Some coach is like, "Oh, I love that guy." Oh, but even though we're happy with who we have, we'll still end up having coach and quarterback envy for a little bit until we really get that team for the future. But hey, Sean Payton puts together in a season like this, and I'm not going to be, fawning over coaches.
No, I'm thoroughly surprised and impressed at the way things turned around.
Yep.
For the Broncos to this point, I don't, I know I was the only one banging the drum for the Broncos to get a high draft pick, but there's something to be said about this streak that they have been on, even though I think it's kind of fool's gold. Sometimes all you need to do is fake it until you make it. And this confidence that they are getting hopefully helps going into next year. Once again, if they make the playoffs, I think there's no doubt these guys are a paper tiger. If you get a quarterback who can take care of the football and not turn the ball over, the Broncos don't have a chance, because that's been what's really spurred this whole run for the Broncos. I was actually gonna ask one thing I thought about. Nick, I know you have this in the next segment, but is
Is
So Draymond Green, I know he got his indefinite suspension. We'll talk about that. But is oh my God, why am I forgetting our safety's name?
Kareem Jackson.
It's Kareem Jackson. I wanted to say Webster. I'm like, it's not Webster. Is Kareem Jackson the Draymond
Kayvon
Green
Webster
of the
here.
NFL?
Is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He has a broken hip.
I
Kayvon
saw
Webster,
that.
you're
I hope
thinking
he's
of.
okay. That's kind of terrifying for his age.
But-
Anyway,
But is Kareem Jackson like the Draymond Green of the NFL?
No,
right now?
see,
he's not famous enough, but
he's
trying to be.
and his hits aren't. I mean, he's not trying to start fights. He's just playing hard-nosed safety that he doesn't realize he can't play like anymore.
Yeah,
It's one thing
Vontaze Perfect was
if
not
you're-
Draymond Green.
That's the other name that I came up with. I was gonna say, or is much more Vontaze Perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
sorry. Go
funny,
ahead,
Joe.
Nick.
After Perfect, I forgot where I was going.
Sorry.
That name. Once you pop that name in my head, I was like, "That's the other name we're looking for."
They just erased everything else. My bad.
Yeah,
It came in my head and I was
maybe
like,
Kareem
that's
Jackson is the new age Vontaze Perfect.
there we go.
No, not quite.
The new age.
But he's not trying to do it. He's not like trying to cause CTE in people like Vontaze Perfect was.
Yeah,
Like Kareem Jackson, he's just, tough. Vontaze Perfect, like literally played
He was just dirty. Yeah.
Like, and Ndamukong Suh played dirty.
Yeah.
Pac-Man Jones. There's been plenty of guys.
Bill Romanowski.
Yeah, plenty of
Let's
dirty,
name some more dirty Bronco players.
To a lesser extent,
all the dirt. Yeah, but Pac-Man
Joe
Jones was a
Dirte.
Bronco. Yo, dear.
Pac-Man
Yeah.
Jones was a Bronco.
the necklace guy.
Aqib Talib.
Thank you.
I don't think Philly was dirty. I think he was just he
Mm,
knew the rules and he knew he was breaking the rules, but like he wasn't trying to do that all the time and fucking like actually hurt people or anything. It's obviously, Captain Inthano was a different story, but he felt like he was, he was just fired up. I think he was misled. He's too fiery, too angry, definitely a little dangerous, but I wouldn't go dirty.
let's get dangerous.
Yeah, man. Remember when like Danger Russ was like sounding
Don't mix
cool?
that up with Danger Us. Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
remember
mix
that
up.
sounded cool.
Just stick with Darkwing Duck, and we'll go ahead and move on to. Let's start. I mean, let's just get on the Draymond thing real quick since we already kind of touched on it. Dude, WTF, man? Like, you have that history, and like you're trying to sell it as I didn't know what I did. You like straight up pimp slap that dude.
Chokehold, pimp slap, everything.
Yeah. Like, is Wayne Brady gonna have to smack a bitch? Yeah, that was because like, and I think he was surprised the amount of contact he made with Nurkic's face. Like, I think it was a lucky shot, but he definitely meant to do it. Like he swung his hand around. I think he was trying to like kind of get him with the forearm a little bit, and then the mitt just fucking bam, and Nurkic goes down. And Nurkic stayed down too long because it's basketball anyway. According to basketball, every time it's basketball and action movies, every time you get touched, you have to go down.
In a big way.
Exactly. But yeah, man, like he's got issues. He's got to stop retaliating in that way. Like he's got that reputation now where he's the Vontaze Perfect of the NBA.
Oh man, I don't know how. I mean, how much longer can he last in this league doing things like that? I mean, he's got to be like on thin ice at this point.
I think that's it.
You think so?
I think the indefinite suspension, and then I don't know if the Warriors even keep him on their roster. I mean, there was already the dust up in training camp last year that he had. They've traded away guys in order to keep him and try to do everything to appease him and make him happy, but he still goes and does this. It's not that he can't redeem himself, but I don't know if he'll get the opportunity to. Like Nazem Kadri, he redeemed himself in Denver, getting suspended all those times in those games. But I think that this indefinite suspension from the league really speaks volumes as to where he stands. It took Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest, changing his name and going through a bunch of stuff. And yeah, he still played dirty. There was some dirty stuff, but he changed his game in a very large way for the most part. But Draymond Green hasn't shown any change.
No.
And he hasn't shown any change in his game. It's actually gotten worse the older that he's gotten, because he probably needs to do those tactics to hang around in the league. And you need to be tough, but there's being tough and there's being stupid, and he's being stupid.
And he's still a good enough defender to not have to do those things. He's just he wants to get away with shit like that. Like he kind of has that Aqib Talib fire to him, but he takes that as an excuse to then do something dirty. I think that's kind of where the line is with that, in terms of me not considering Talib dirty. But Draymond, I think they have that same kind of short temper, but Draymond takes it to a different level. Stomping on Sabonis's chest. It's just, and the Warriors have said they're going to keep him around. They're going to try to help him out. So I think he will get one more chance, because he is the defensive anchor of that team. They don't have a replacement for that type of player that Draymond is on the Warriors, I think, right now. I don't know what they do if he's out for the suspension lasts the whole season. I don't know what they do for that big center role. They've got some guys for sure, but no, it's like Loon Dog is not going to cut it. So it's huge for them. So I think they will give him another shot just because of that. But because it's Draymond, I think he's going to end up screwing it up potentially. Yeah. But I feel like he's going to get, a couple more chances, because again, it's the talent. They won a championship with that core of Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And obviously the Jordan Poole stuff didn't work out, but Poole needed to go anyway. Like, Poole was a cancer to that whole team. Poole was missing shots and complaining and taking unnecessary shots and not fitting in with the rest of that offense in like the second year of them all being together. That first year, it all worked great when he was coming off the bench and then starting a little bit for Steph. But last year, man, it was a fucking disaster. Like, they needed to get rid of him. And Chris Paul brings a dynamic, but it doesn't bring a big man. So I think because of that, they're going to need to bring him back.
So let me use that to piggyback or to springboard into
both.
Joker gets a heave-ho off of one tee. Can Draymond, his reputation keep him from getting teed out just like Joker did after one? Because for whatever reason, Joker apparently deserved a one tee ejection.
Was it like a flagrant?
Well, okay, so here's what it was, and what I have heard from some other people, and it seems to be true, is that he was talking to the ref, and the ref, it feels like, wanted to get his words in too. And Jokic decided to turn around, run up the court, and not listen to what the ref said. So this is one of those instances, I feel like, from watching it, it feels like the ref inserted himself, and he got angry that he didn't get to respond to Jokic. That's really like, go back and look at it, and it really feels like that, because Jokic says his words, keeps going down the court. Maybe he's still talking, but like, all NBA players do that. And it feels like they got their feelings hurt and just teed them up because they didn't get to say their piece.
That's ridiculous.
When you look at it from that point of view,
rewatch it. I'll fucking ignore them all the time. That's stupid.
Yeah, but rewatch it. When you look at it from that perspective, I'm telling you, it looks a lot like it could be something like that, which is really stupid, and it should have no place in the game. And he didn't deserve to get thrown out for yelling about a call. Maybe a tech, okay, whatever, but you don't give him two and toss him.
Yeah, see, I've officiated a lot of games. I mean, I probably officiated for about 6 years.
Nick's pretty official.
And the thing is, you don't make the game about you. You're just there to maintain order.
Yeah, you're an offensive lineman.
I don't want to be noticed. I don't want people to know my name. The only people that should know my name are the coaches. And that's because
the people watching Undrafted Uncensored.
Yes.
But that's because we introduced ourselves before the game.
Good shit,
You
Colin.
know, and the game should never be about you. It should never be about your feelings, because I'm not there to affect the game. I'm there to maintain order and keep a balance. And if I can't get yelled at by somebody without my feelings getting hurt, I shouldn't be wearing the stripes. You know, and I mean, maybe it's because of my current profession too, where I'm used to people talking crap to me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm just either I'm going to give it right back, or I'm just going to straight ignore you because I don't care about your opinion.
Wait, you're telling me some people don't like cops?
Yeah, I know, it's shocking, isn't it?
Shocker. Well, there was another point I heard that was made up, or not made up. Another point that I heard was that a lot of these refs are getting a lot more TV time and screen time. And as funny as it was in that football game where he's like, "Hey, I'm talking to America here."
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's kind of cringy to think that's their view.
That's their mentality,
Which is so different from what you're saying, Nick, is that, hey, I'm just here to make sure everything goes smoothly. You know, I don't want to place myself in the game.
I love this game. I love getting paid to watch it, and this is as close to the action as I can get because I couldn't get past, high school.
And I mean, we've experienced it with home plate umpires in the games that we've called and been a part of. It's like the guys who come up and want to be part of our live stream. I like these, like, we've seen it. It's become, instead of wanting to just be a part of the game, they want to be a focus in the game.
And they want that engagement and interaction. And I mean, how many times have you and I made some comments before, and we were allowed to finish a game.
We got to step away from a microphone for a minute or two, you know? So
how am I not? Wait, what? Colin got fired up and said some shit that he had to step down from the mic.
Oh,
that doesn't make any sense at all.
I don't get angry much, so it takes a lot to really to get me there. I just but when I do, funny. Watch out.
Yeah, Colin doesn't get fired up about baseball at all. That's ridiculous.
No, not at all.
I will never subscribe to that.
But you're right. It has become a much different thing. And Jokic, to go back to it, Jokic didn't deserve to get tossed. Sometimes you bite your tongue, you go through it, and it's never going to come out. The NBA has probably said privately they're sorry for that. It probably shouldn't have happened.
Hopefully,
but we'll never. But was it Serbian Heritage? Oh, I didn't know that.
It was Serbian Heritage Night in Chicago. And Jokic.
That's why they all booed. Oh my God. I saw the story. The whole crowd booed him getting ejected. I figured it was just because the Bulls fans know their team is ass and they're there to see the opposing team stars. And he's fucking MVP. It's Serbian Heritage Night.
Yes.
We're literally only there for Jokic. That's
Oh man. Oh, that's just another.
I mean, hey, Detective Archuleta.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he is pretty fucking good at this.
Talk about a way to get your name out there. I mean, do that on Serbian Heritage Night.
Yep.
To the wrong people.
A little extra cringe there.
The mafia bosses used to leave horses' heads in people's beds. So he might have a bunch of horse shit on his lawn.
Serbians like horses, apparently.
Yeah, they won't kill the horse, but they'll let him tear up his lawn, I'm sure.
Oh man!
We'll just pull an Animal House and they'll just put the horse in the room.
Real quick, Avs traded Tatar. Do you care? Because I don't.
I didn't know who that was.
There you go.
Tatar, not Makar. I do kind of care. He was starting to find a stride with this team, and it's a 5th round pick, right?
Something like that.
Which maybe he wasn't part of gelling with the locker room, like we talked about.
Yeah.
That could have been it. So I'm glad the Avs got something if it was a guy that just wasn't fitting in. But he had some offensive opportunities. I wanted to see more of that because I feel like he was coming on. One of the comments he made was that he hadn't gone that long without scoring, which was just a few games. It felt like since he was in like the minors or peewees or something like that. So it felt like he could have been a good offensive weapon, but
I think he only had like a handful of goals.
I mean, it definitely felt like a dump. Like there was something wrong when they want, because you don't trade a guy this time of year for that low of a draft pick out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be something going on. Like, did he hit on the coach's wife, like Peyton Hillis? Like something must have happened to where they felt like he needed to be gone. I don't think that the compensation was so much like, oh shit, we need that draft pick. Like, nah.
Yeah.
I think it was, we don't see this guy working out. Or maybe he just said, you know what? I'm not getting what I need from you guys, so I'd like to try it somewhere else too. It could have been a mutual thing. But, yeah, I didn't really know much about the guy because I'm not a huge hockey guy. But just from, like, a sports perspective, that trade kind of looked like a dump.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Joe. That makes a lot of sense.
And
thanks, buddy.
So, yeah, I mean, there's that. Colin, I forgot to include it. Did you want to touch on some of that baseball stuff real quick?
Oh, I think we'll have to hit it Wednesday.
Okay.
I mean, we caught it breaking news live, Shohei Ohtani. So,
right?
We got kind of a head start.
All right.
We kind of did.
Well, then, Colin, guess what? It's time for you to take over.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
Oh, that's right, everybody. Joseph Goodwin winging it down there in the bottom corner.
That's me.
Since we're kicking off with Joe Goodwin, let's talk about what his bad loss game of the week to watch is. Over under of 33.
Oh, sick. I can't wait.
I mean, there are two that I really want to choose from, but I mean,
let's think about it.
The Falcons and the Panthers. The game I might decide to attend tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, that's got to be the one. The 45-cent game has to be the game.
It kind of does. I mean, the other one that I think that might be kind of boring.
Let's think about it. What
is the Bears and Browns, but I mean, it's hard. Or the Bears and Browns. Also, the Chiefs.
You got Joe Flacco in his prime.
I mean, the Chiefs and Patriots might be a pretty ugly game too. But
the Chiefs are stumbling lately.
Yeah, but I think a game that you're getting 45-cent tickets to. That Joe, that is the game you get to watch, so no one else has to.
Hell yeah! Can't wait.
Oh, and let's we already picked one game so far. To recap that, Nick, surprise, chose the Broncos at plus 190 over the Lions, minus 230. Joe and I I'm staying true to my picks of the Broncos losing out. We move on to Sunday night.
I'm staying false.
Football. And in Sunday night football, we have the Ravens at minus 185 visiting Jacksonville at plus 154. The last time these teams met, the Ravens stomped the Jaguars. I think it was 38-0 was the final. Something along those lines. Do the Jags get redemption? Nick?
Nah, Lawrence is still nursing a whole bunch of injuries that he obviously refused to come out of the lineup. So he'll go out there and try and start and create chaos for the Jacksonville offense, and not the good kind of chaos. So Baltimore walks out of there with an easy dub.
Easy dub, says one Nick Archuleta. Joe, who you got?
I'm with him. Baltimore just looks too good. Jacksonville right now, they don't know who the number one receiver is. Etienne's been banged up, although I think he's fine for this week. But he just feels like he's a guy falling on him the wrong way from Dearness Johnson playing football, who's actually solid. He returns kicks for them. I don't know if you realize that. I didn't until all of a sudden. And there's Dearness Johnson with the return. He must just be reliable, I guess, because it's not the speed. We know that.
Yeah, we saw that when he ran all over the Broncos in Cleveland Browns uniform.
Dude, that was
Yeah.
the best like fantasy start, like free agent pickup. One of the best nights I ever had. I was so stoked. I was like, you know what? Even though Vic Fangio's defense is solid, because this is a few years ago, I was like, fuck it. I don't trust him. I'm signing the Browns' third running back, Dearness Johnson, and starting him. And he fucking went off. And I won that week, and I didn't make the playoffs, and everything was sad.
Well,
on that note, yeah, it's Baltimore.
While you guys are going with the Ravens, I'm going with the Jaguars at home. I think they want some revenge. I also think this is a really weird week where I think it's going to be one of those weeks that the upsets, are happening on Sunday, that we get some surprising results. Not saying that the Cardinals are going to beat the 49ers, but I think that's going to be a lot closer game than people think. The Rams and Commanders game, I think, is going to be a lot closer than people think. The Bills game against the Cowboys, I think, is going to be a lot closer. And so in this game, I think that this is one of those that I think it might be kind of an underdog week, even though I picked against the Broncos just because. But even the Jets could give the Dolphins a run, especially if they don't have Tyreek Hill. So watch out this week with your pick'ems, because I'm not very confident in a lot of games. I might even just put that money on the Patriots to beat the Chiefs at home, because you ain't making any money at minus 425. But give me the Jaguars.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Also on Sunday night, we have some basketball, and a team we were just talking about in the Golden State Warriors. They face off against the Portland Trailblazers. Warriors a minus 155 favorite on the road in Portland. Joe, who you got?
Man, that's tough. I mean, because the Warriors just lost a massive part of their team, their big guy with their defense. It's going to be tough for them to overcome it. I mean, Steph Curry's still playing amazing, but Klay Thompson has not had a very good year. Their bench hasn't been as stellar, except for obviously Chris Paul, who is Chris Paul. Portland's got some young guys, but they're Portland. I'm taking the Warriors.
I am not sure who's reffing this game, so I don't know how soon or if Chris Paul will get thrown out. However, I'm still salty at Chris Paul.
Scott Foster.
Salty at Scott Foster's normally the ref who throws out Chris Paul, but I'm still salty at Steph Curry for not getting a double-double. So give me the Blazers.
Here you go.
Nick, who you got?
Laser, Blazer, and Taser, and all kinds of Azers.
There's an Adam Azer who talks fantasy football too.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
There's a shoe company called Acer.
There's also a computer company.
Yeah, there is.
Nick, who you got?
Thinking about the computer company, and not they might not make shoes.
Man, they're both not that great this year.
Right.
Really picked a good one there, Colin.
Good work.
Both teams coming in on a back-to-back. Obviously, Warriors are at home before they.
Warriors are on the road.
No, before they head out.
Home too. I don't know.
Head out to Portland. Both teams on a back-to-back. Only difference is Portland gets to sleep in their own beds.
Have you seen Portland? That sounds like a negative.
Give me the Warriors.
And that's why we give Nick the last pick in basketball, because he takes his time doing research while I just go with my gut. Mm-hmm. We move to Monday Night Football.
Someone's got a case of the Mondays.
The Eagles, who they've been feeling like it's a case of the Mondays for the last few weeks, it seems. Eagles travel to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Eagles are only a minus 162 favorite. Seahawks plus 136. It looks like the Seahawks have their running game back in Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker should both be playing. We'll see if DK Metcalf gets tossed early or not. Either way, I am going with the Eagles in hopes that Jalen Hurts is also questionable all of a sudden today.
Oh shit.
So I'm going with the Eagles to win this game, although I am a little bit nervous with the news coming out today of Jalen Hurts being questionable. They might be questioning whether or not he knows how to fall to the ground and hold on to the ball.
That might be why he's hurt.
Yeah, by the way, did you guys see that?
No.
There was a thing going around saying the Eagles or Jalen Hurts is practicing falling to the ground without fumbling. And they just showed him at practice going to the ground and holding on to the ball.
That's funny.
But yes, I'm going with the Eagles to win this game on Monday Night Football because it's probably going to be Geno Smith. Nick, who you got?
Yeah, Geno's still questionable.
Who was the backup?
Drew
Lock.
Lock.
Horse cock lock.
He had a hell of a game last week.
That's true. He had one of those classic Drew Lock games.
Yeah, the typical backup kind of game. Like I said, he has potential to be a good backup. I've been saying that. It's not his fault he was drafted so high. And I mean, give the kid a cookie. He'll eat that cookie at least. Don't give him the whole package though,
and it's so sad that we had so much high hopes for like a mid-second round pick at quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's got to be the future.
I think if personalities were different, he probably could have survived here a little bit longer. But boomers and millennials don't get along very well, so that was oil and water to begin with. Last time these, I don't like Seattle. I just don't trust them, even though it's the Eagles and they've been playing like crap the last few weeks. I just don't like Seattle to do anything, especially if it's going to be a second week in a row that Drew Lock's going to have to start. That's not going to help them out a whole lot. So give me Philly.
Nick has Philly. Joe, who you got? Wrap it up.
Oh man, I mean, it's one of those where like it kind of feels like a trap game.
Yeah,
like it feels like I should just take Philly, because this with Seattle you just don't really know. And the Hurts injury thing, I don't know how legit that really is. We'll see how it goes. It almost feels like something that they would put out to like, interference type stuff. He's a little bit injured. Let's just say he is and fuck with him. It's tough. And yeah, you don't know who the quarterback in Seattle is. But he's going to be throwing to DK.
Have it your way.
Fuck it. I'm taking Seattle.
Oh man, I'm glad you took Seattle because the last time we swept
we all lost.
Monday Night Football game, we all lost. So at least someone's gonna win here. Oh, well, that wraps up the victory formation. Hopefully, Joe and I are in the victory formation, our fantasy leagues after Monday night. We're fixing to find out, as someone once said.
Find out. I hope
we'll
so.
Also
man.
figure out who is in the victory formation on our next show when we recap these games.
Yeah. Who won the worst game ever? We'll find out.
What appears probably like the cheapest game ever.
The cheapest game ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's fixing to find out.
Fidna. We fidna find out.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Michael Spillin and all the crew over at E5280 Sports for having us on their platform. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody that tunes in every week. No matter how you do it, we love it. We love you. And as always, love each other as well.
Yeah, and stuff,
Happy holidays.
Happy Honda days.
We'll see you next week.
Go more cowbell.
Sales event.
Go Zanker Spankers.
Yeah. Is there a Ford deal right now? Happy that also.